Hey guys, and welcome to Tesla Red channel with EV News Weekly. And yes, this is the 20th episode, 3rd of November 2024. Hey, Hal, good to see you. Thanks very much. It's gone pretty quick. This last week's gone pretty quick. Hope everyone enjoyed the special guest last week. Working on a few more of different special guests from different channels. And certainly, if you've got any favourite content creators out there that you'd like to see come on, feel free to reach out to them and pass on my invitation. As I mentioned last week, I really want to try and help promote EV content creators, especially smaller ones that are producing quality content. And that's hard to get that started in YouTube and get your name out there, and it always helps to get that bit of help from other people. So yeah, look, I'm more than happy to help anyone out. I know Grumpy picked up quite a few subscribers last week, and obviously a lot of my audience hadn't seen him before, so that was great. And he does some good stuff. So yeah, look, I'm more than happy to get anyone who's doing quality content on here, whether they're Tesla related or any EV related content. Hey Michael, how you going? Long time no see, mate. And actually, there's also a couple of big industry players coming up. So the first one of those should be ready to go in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that one. Should be good to see. I know a few people will be interested in this particular company. So yeah, look, they'll be coming on hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks. They're just finalising a new product. All right, go ahead and get started. We had a good chat last week about EV utes and the lack of EV utes in Australia, which is a big market segment here. I saw during the week that this particular vehicle, they had an example in the Melbourne Auto Show. So it's the LDV e-Terron full BEV ute. Apparently, it's just over 100 kilowatt battery. Not sure on the range, but with 100 kilowatts, should get decent range if it's anything reasonably efficient. But good to see finally a full BEV ute, at least scheduled to arrive early next year, hopefully. See what happens with that, but it's LDV bringing that one out. On the Tesla side of things, they've announced that they're doing a new standardization. They've actually released a bunch of information to other manufacturers, other auto manufacturers as well as suppliers, inviting them to join in an initiative to reduce the number of connectors and standardize. Today, cars typically use over 200 connections, and they're simplifying it down to just 6. So it's based on the 48-volt architecture that was used in the Cybertruck. It meets the requirement for increased spacing of 48-volt operation and available in industry standards. So it's looking at requiring 1/4 of the current using the 48-volt architecture, so they can use much smaller and thinner copper wires, saving on weight and costs. I know that made a massive difference in the Cybertruck. It's more reliable, and having a robust system with standardized connectors that we're not having 200 different types will certainly make everything a lot cheaper to produce and simpler, which is what Tesla's been all about. So that's great. Okay. And yeah, I agree. That's how I approach it. I think it's there's a small number of good creators out there, and it's good to get them more publicity and help them grow. Oh, geez, I just realised the screen wasn't coming up. Sorry. Let me back up a bit. Sorry. Okay, sorry, the screen sharing wasn't working. So that's the LDV eTeron I was talking about. And that's the connectors I was just talking about there. So that's the notification that Tesla sent out to other manufacturers and suppliers. Looking at the six connector types that they've got there to try and simplify everything. All right, Tesla Semi. So going strong still, looking at 1,000 vehicles by the end of the year. Noting it's still very much in the pilot stages, with a dedicated factory not due to be completed to the end of next year. It's pretty impressive that they've got so many coming out. Also, we talked about the crash some weeks ago, and finally seen some confirmation that this is due to the driver falling asleep, as we kind of speculated. So definitely good to see that they're bringing in FSD, and I'm assuming autopilot as well. I'm not sure if that is currently available or not. I haven't seen anything indicating it is, but that'll reduce those sorts of fatigue accidents, which are actually pretty common in big rigs, unfortunately. So yeah, I've actually had an experience myself where I was rear-ended by a truck because the driver fell asleep, and that definitely wasn't fun. I always talk about taking fatigue breaks, and that's where EVs are really good. They're just the way that your route planning works, taking a 2 to 3 hour break every 2 to 3 hours. 10 minute, 15 minute break every 2 to 3 hours makes a lot of sense. It makes that trip so much better. Okay, so that's the Ute. Yeah. Unfortunately, not many companies have been able to get anywhere near the sort of efficiency that Tesla have, but at least it is a big EV Ute. I mean, 300 kilometers is still not too bad. That's especially if that's got with a load. That should account for most use cases, but wait and see. Yeah, hopefully it'll encourage more. Don't know if Rivian will plan to do it at some point, but yeah, it can only be a good thing anyway. Saw this during the week too. If you need to film a jet taking off from Brisbane Airport.
Look, have a look at the shot of the Tesla.
It's done an
extraordinary job.
Car to do it to that Model Y.
If you zoom out slightly, you'll see it's in company with our. There we are. There's our freighter coming through. But look at those pictures. Let's just enjoy that for a moment. Tracking alongside that Qantas flight. They're the Qantas hangars in the background. Lots of deep maintenance happening in Brisbane. Lots of engineering jobs here in Brisbane. And we are tracking along with that aircraft. Now, it's going to beat us. The Tesla's fast. It's not that fast. Not quite that fast. But have a look at that. That is a spectacular shot.
Some pretty cool footage there. So, yeah, obviously using the speed of the Tesla to be able to keep up with that 737. Good to see.
But look.
Okay, this one's a Mythbusters one. I think it has been debunked anyway since I saw it, but Electric Viking ran a video during the week, supposedly a picture of the new Model Y Juniper. I was very skeptical the second I saw it, just by the fact that light bar there, had all these brakes in the light bar and that kind of stuff. It just did not look like a true production model. So I suspected it was a aftermarket kit. It's been actually confirmed. It was a Model 3 Highland that has been modified with a hand show light bar, but it didn't. The second I saw it, it did not sound like it was real. the fact that everything else has been heavily camouflaged, to have one suddenly driving around South Carolina with, looks like, regular plates. I just sometimes some of these creators present things as fact, and people, buy into them straight away when they're just pure speculation. I know I always try to. Yeah, look, I don't want to talk about anybody, but he does have the tendency to present these wild speculations as fact, and I've seen quite a few people fall for it and make decisions that haven't gone well for them. It's just it is annoying. I do try to present anything that I'm not sure of, or it's come from a source I can't 100% verify as speculation. And we've shown this photo here before of what it looks like. It looks like the current build of the Model Y Juniper, but as I've said, with any of the mock-ups and that kind of stuff, I do try to present that as speculation. And if you catch me doing it, definitely remind me if I do start presenting anything that without that sort of a warning. Hey, Kylie, good to see you. Yeah, look, Eric, he used to do some good stuff, but tends to get more and more into the very sort of I don't know, clickbaity sort of stuff nowadays. All right, so another incentive from Tesla which came out during the week, $3,000 discount if you do a novated lease on Model 3 and Y. Suggests they're trying to clear some inventory for the new Model Y potentially. It could also be just a push for the Q4 figures to try and get them up. As I've mentioned a few times now, all this information coming out about the new Model Y Juniper, I worry that it will affect Q4 sales, and we may not beat last year. But we'll see. I think many will be holding off anyway for the new model. It was pretty clear it was going to come out early next year, so who knows? Be interesting to see if the total year is a beat on last year. But so far, look, we're looking pretty good. So time will tell. Another cool video from Pete Balls to the Wall on X. Balls to the Wall FSD is his handle.
Any idea?
No.
No way!
So what are you going to do
Oh
today?
my gosh! That was...
So if you saw that, it managed to see a fire truck or emergency vehicle at quite a distance and pull over to the side of the road. That's the first time FSD has done that. I'm not sure if this was 12.5.5 or 12.5.6, but still, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, that's right. That's a novated lease one. So yeah, look, they're obviously not panicking too much, but interesting to see. So yeah, look, Tesla AI team and the FSD team have been really good with. Yeah, I've had them for quite a while. I use them for reading normally, stuff small, but getting old. Yeah, the Tesla AI team on X have been really sort of good lately with, putting a lot of information out. on what's happening as far as milestones for FSD and that kind of stuff, which is great to see. It's good to see it coming from the AI team as well, because I know Elon can be a little bit optimistic at times. The team themselves, especially the guys like Ashok and that kind of stuff, you see it from them. It's normally, that they don't really say much until they're very close or they've already got it working in testing and that kind of thing. So October sort of rundown of what they completed, end-to-end on Highway has shipped. So they've got approximately 50,000 customers with 12.5.6.1. I think that was what we just saw. The solder truck build and the We Were Able event, which was pretty impressive. And they've got a list of milestones they want to push out, what's coming next. So we're seeing the full rollout of end-to-end to all AO4 users, targeted early next week. Some good stuff here. So V13 coming soon. With they've got a lot of the information there about it's actually for the first time using the full capabilities of AI4 or Hardware 4, which is great to see. Hell, they did talk about audio in there somewhere. There you go, audio inputs for better handling of emergency vehicles. So yeah, we saw that it's picking him up pretty well. It's picking him up pretty well with just the vision, but the audio is obviously going to help as well. The integrated unpark, reverse, and park capabilities will be awesome. So they've had these running for quite a while, as we know that the cars they had on 10th the 10th were running a version 13 build. So they're talking about a 4 times increase in miles between necessary interventions compared to 12.5.4. And actually, I saw a video earlier today too, but with this 3 times model scaling, 3 times model context length scaling, that's talking about having the FSD think ahead a lot further and that kind of stuff. And I saw a video of 12.5.6.3, which really seemed to indicate that they were already doing that. There already was a significant improvement in how far ahead it was planning and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see when this version 13 comes out. So they're saying that version 13 will essentially be feature complete for full unsupervised FSD. So that I take that to mean it could operate as a robotaxi, but just waiting on regulatory approval. And as we saw on 10 to 10th, that seemed to be the case. So yes, we'll be the first to use the new Cortex supercomputer training cluster, and finally unlocks the full capabilities of Hardware 4, which has been running in Hardware 3 emulation mode up to this point. So that'll be great to see. They also talked about actual smart summon in Europe, China, and other regions. And the way they're talking about it seems like they're going to release that before FSD in other regions. So I don't know how that will go as far as regulators go and that kind of stuff, and what other regions they're talking about there. But that'll be interesting to see if that does happen or not. As far as local software updates, I did see quite a few people saying that 38.2 was having some issues on autopilot, slowing for corners that weren't quite necessary to slow for, that kind of thing. I did notice that mine got upgraded from 38.2 to 38.4 and then 38.6 in very, very short succession. So I never actually experienced it. I've got my trip to Brisbane next week, so that'll be interesting to see. I'll be on 38.6, obviously, unless a new one comes out that in the next week, which I doubt, but they have been coming out pretty quick lately, so we'll see. But I'll see if those issues are there then. But I suspect it might have been an issue that they've resolved. So we're now sitting a little under 30% of the fleet on the 2024.38 branch. I did notice today that there's a new branch already being prepared again. It's 2024.44. So they're really moving through these branches quickly with minor noticeable differences between them. So that makes me wonder whether there's something else going on in the background, whether it's shadow testing different versions of FSD or something like that. Who knows? But tend to think that they don't normally go to a new branch that often, generally, without new features and that kind of thing. So I suspect there's something in the background that's being released. Yeah, look, I don't have an issue with it at all. I actually prefer it now. So it took me all of 5 minutes to get used to it. I did a video. There's a video, one of my first videos I released actually was testing it around roundabouts around Canberra. Obviously, Canberra is just full of roundabouts, so we definitely gets plenty of use with the buttons instead of stalks. But yeah, look, I found within 5 minutes I was using it just as good as stalks, and within a few weeks, I find them better than stalks. You're basically just using. When I'm turning the wheel, I'm grabbing the wheel with my other hand. So I've always got one thumb on the indicator buttons. I just grab it where the buttons are, and it's very easy. You don't even think about it. You know which button to push. It's usually only the left one you've got to worry about when you're turning the wheel anyway, because you're coming off a roundabout. So that's the top button with your right thumb. And look, you don't think about it. On the trip I did to Adelaide, I didn't notice like the third day. The hotel that we're staying at had a very quick succession of a left and right turn to get into the driveway. And I didn't realise till the third day that I'd been indicating that fine without even thinking about it. And everyone was saying how impossible it was going to be be able to do that sort of indication, that kind of thing. It's just, it becomes second nature. You're not reaching for a stalk. The buttons are always there. And honestly, I think most people I've talked to that have the Highland wouldn't go back. If you'd asked me before I had a chance to experience it, if I had an option to get stalks at no extra cost, I might have gone for it, maybe. But within a couple of weeks, there was no way I would ever go back to stalks. I do know some people struggle with them, but the majority of people I talk to, and I know I've actually had some people that have gone in to test drive a Tesla, where the wife's wanted a BYD and the husband's wanted a Tesla, or vice versa. There's about three people I've heard this from, and the stalks has been one of the issues that they've tried to raise as a problem. The reason why that particular partner wanted a BYD, but even those people that went in there wanting to hate it, wanting to not like the Tesla at all, said that within 5 minutes they loved it. And they also loved the software of the Tesla and that kind of stuff, and end up going with a Tesla over the BYD. So it's interesting. It's I think that it's a real non-issue. Yeah, look, and people say, look, America hasn't got many roundabouts. They actually there are quite a few roundabouts in America. Definitely not as many as here. But and they've had the S's and the X's have had the no stalks for quite a while as well. So yeah, look, I don't think there's an issue. There are aftermarket kits, so if you are that person that really doesn't like it and can't get used to it, and certainly some people have got different mobility issues and that kind of stuff, that they may not be able to use the buttons as easily as they can use the stalks. That's fine. And there are aftermarket kits that do return the stalks to the Highland, and assuming the Juniper will be the same as well. So this was another post on X, a great reminder of how seriously Tesla takes safety. So that was one of my primary reasons for choosing Tesla. And seriously, who wouldn't choose the safest car on the planet, put the family in? It just makes sense. So it's great to see these comments from the senior execs there. Lars is obviously one of the top guys at Tesla, and it's great to see them putting these sorts of things out and keeping it as a motivation. And that very clearly is one of the top priorities at Tesla, which is great to see. So not so great news as far as EV utes goes. Ford have gone ahead and ceased production of the F-150 Lightning for the remainder of the year. They just aren't selling as enough, and the fall off there has been pretty dramatic. We're already seeing the Cybertruck well and truly overtake all the other EV trucks over there. So yeah, looks less promising for the F-150 Lightning to come to Australia. So yeah, look, not good news as far as getting more options out there. Yeah. Also, there's the Cybertruck now coming out, and then lower cost variants too will also be another hit for Ford and Rivian as well, going into next year. Yeah, look at over the whole industry over, even ICE and NEV definitely have been hit. With all the interest rates and that kind of thing, it's been a bad year for most of the year for most companies. But yeah, definitely inventory numbers over there are pretty massive. It's just going to be difficult for a lot of these companies that are producing EVs that they can't make profitable. A lot of them are losing, lots of money, and to have the stock numbers, shooting up and that kind of stuff, and not be able to sell them, it makes you wonder who's going to survive. It's going to be a tough, next 12 months for them, I think. Whereas Tesla seem to have already come through it and doing well. All right, anyone else got any other comments or questions or discussion points? And as always, I always put the StreamYard link there. Everyone's always welcome to come on and have a chat if they want to, and certainly no pressure. But if you'd like to come on and chat about the different news items or any particular topics that of interest, more than happy to have you on. I certainly appreciate the support, especially people getting in the chat there. It definitely helps. Yeah, look, it's hard to say. I wouldn't really want to try and predict these things. I think it's been a tough market. Like I said, I think Tesla have kind of turned a corner. They obviously experienced it earlier than most, given the direct-to-consumer model. But they also recover faster as well. So I'm kind of more focused on the full year results. Wait to see what happens with those. I'd like to see Tesla at least match last year's figures. But look, it's looking good as far as that goes. But I just do worry, as I said, about the sort of Osmo effect with the Model Y being the best-selling vehicle. If those numbers are down, then it's going to affect the overall sales quite a bit. So at the end of the day, it's not a the end of the world if they don't match last year's figures. Obviously, they've got a lot of new vehicles coming next year and that kind of stuff. So there's every likelihood that next year is going to be a much better year than this year. Interest rates will continue to come down, that kind of thing. So I think whether they beat this year or not isn't the end of the world, but it would be good to see. Have you got any particular predictions or expectations on that? While you're there, if you can please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel. It's a free way of helping out a little bit. Also appreciate those who have taken out memberships either on YouTube or at Ko-fi. The links are down in the description there for those options where you can do a little donation of a cup of coffee or sign up for a membership. Don't expect everyone to do that, but it certainly is appreciated of those who have helped out. It does take a fair bit of work, but it's definitely appreciated. Yeah, that's interesting. Every time I go to Brisbane, I see more and more Teslas as well, and kind of surprised. Queensland's always seen as behind the curve as far as a lot of the stuff goes. It's interesting to see there's quite a few Mackay. I definitely think that the Model Y will end the year again as the best selling in the world. It's also looking at taking the crown in Europe and US potentially as well. So definitely the US, it looks like it's on the track to do that. It did top Europe last month, I believe it was. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I think the EV volumes will continue to keep rising, and obviously, yeah, like you say, plug-in hybrid. People are just seeing that as a stepping stone for those who have the range anxiety and that kind of stuff for the EVs, and obviously being promoted very heavily by Legacy Auto. So yeah, they'll continue to take more market share from the ICE vehicles, that's for sure. But I think, as we all know here, once you've gone to an EV, there's no going back to a hybrid or especially to an ICE vehicle, I don't think. So EV will continue to grow, and the ICE volumes will continue to decrease. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes Australia to get to that tipping point where it's 50% ICE vehicle sales. We saw China did recently, and a number of other countries have gone well past that. But that'll be an interesting turning point for sure. And I think we'll start accelerating things as the economies of scale for these makers bringing out ICE vehicles to Australia is just going to make them more and more expensive. Eventually, we'll see fuel becoming more and more expensive as well. Yeah, it's great to see that there are different options out there for people. Not everyone wants to drive a Tesla, that's fine. Whatever reasoning they have for preferring another brand, that's fine. And it's just good that there are other EVs out there that are decent cars. We've got a whole bunch of Chinese makes that are coming out now that are fairly decent. And the EV5 is a decent car for sure. All right, guys, we might wrap it up. Next week, I will be getting ready to travel. Probably do a shorter show again. We'll see how we go. Week after that, I may have to miss, so we'll see how we go. I'll try to let you guys know beforehand. But thanks again for coming along. Thanks again for getting in the chat and posting your comments. Really does help the show move along. It also helps the YouTube algorithms and that kind of stuff too, so definitely appreciated. And till next week, safe driving, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.